Good hello to you. My name's Eli Gumble, and this is Rock and Robots, the podcast. It's episode 2, where we're going to cover what's happening on the 13th of October, 2024, at the Others in Stoke Newington. It is, of course, Rock and Robots number 12. It's actually 2 years since the first ever event that I ran at that venue. So, because we used to do it on Thursdays, and that was a Thursday. Now we do Sundays. Coming up on this edition of the podcast, we are going to be speaking to Hypnobard, Lovell, and me, your featured acts for this Sunday. I'm also be go I'm also going to be going over another one of my robots. One day I will find a Robotator interview, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what happened at the tournament last time because some pretty weird stuff happened, which I needed to actually go frame by frame on. And those of you watching on YouTube will be able to see that frame by frame analysis. We will also be hearing some exclusive recordings and performances from Hypnobard, Lovell, and Eli Gumble. So I've got to decide what I'm doing there, and I'll you'll hear it at the end of the show. I think it's a good time to throw to my first interview, which is going to be the main man of Hypnobard and his son, Milos and Leo. Take it away. Right now, I'm joined by Milos and Leo from Hypnobard. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey. So, you are this I believe is one of your first gigs as a in the current incarnation of the band. You came along to the open mic and as a two piece, and I liked what I heard, so I decided to book you guys. And it is nearly time for you to bring Hypnobard to the stage.
Yeah. Yes. We're a five piece. We have Matt on drums, Jake on bass, and Joe on guitar still with us. And so it's going to be like a proper big rock and roll band gig. Last time it was just two of us, and today it's going to be two of us, but the next time we're going to have the whole band together.
Yeah, proper rock and roll is definitely what we're looking for. So tell us about how Hypnobard all came together. Some of your descriptions on your website say things about music therapy, and I definitely know the value of that. But yeah, tell us about how you got this all together.
Yes, well, 4 years became disabled and slowly but surely housebound, and my mental health started going down the drain. And then I found this charity called Nordoff and Robbins, who accepted me, and we started doing music therapy. And with Joe, my guitar player now, who joined us in the band. And yeah, it started getting, it started giving me back the will to live and getting me back to music. And I used to be a singer in a hard rock heavy metal band at the beginning of 2000s. And so I rediscovered my long lost passion and love for singing and music. And Leo joined us on one of the therapies on a piano, and we made a song then the other song, and it's grew from there. So now we are continuing our journey in Hypnobard.
That's great. So was the whole band brought together through this music therapy program, or did you
Yes.
sort of advertise for them separately?
No. They came together. They came to our rehearsal because all three of them are working at the institute, and it just came to be. We needed a bass player. We had the bass player. We needed drums. We found Matt and there, and it just was match made in heaven. We just clicked the first rehearsal. We just clicked and became a Hypnobars family.
Yep, everyone sort of seemed to fit in nicely, and all the styles worked well, and it sounded very good even from the first rehearsal.
I really like when that happens. I hope that's happened with the bands I've been in. Um, yeah. So reading through what you've said about Hypnobard on the website, Hypnobard as a character as well, not just as a band. There's a lot of story going on here. Was tell us how that all came about and how you decided this was going to be the story you were going to tell.
Well, Hypnobard is quite an old idea. Um, it's from the time when I was a teenager, like Leo, and this Hypnobard became a character that I never managed to get in any of the bands I was in. But now, when we were choosing the name for the band, you know, I went like, why don't we just, call ourselves Hypnobard? And all the guys were like, yeah, yes, that's super. And then, we started working on the songs, lyrics, and then I realized that we can actually connect our songs into one concept, and it's going to be a conceptual performance. So you're going to hear the story of this sailor on another planet. So Hypnobar then became a character who is flying through these different dimensions and galaxies and is describing the lives of these interesting, uh, let's say, people, um, and their lives. So yeah, that's how it all kind of came to be. My love of science fiction just took over, and that's how Hypnobard came to be a character.
And my love for science fictional music.
Nice. I'm excited to see who Hypnobard's going to meet. Can you give me an example of the kind of beings Hypnobard meets?
Well, yeah, I mean, this first planet uh, is inhabited by human-like beings and human-like civilizations, and much of their problems and strifes are similar to our planet's problems and strifes. So, we don't know if this is actually a dream, an actual planet, or some other form of like parallel universe Earth. It's still in the works.
Maybe a personal question here. Is the Hypnobard you, or is the Hypnobard someone completely separate from anyone who's real?
Well, Hypnobard is a being that flies through space and is a bard, so it's very similar to me. Is it me? No, it's not, but it influences me.
Well, who
And
knows? Maybe it's one of those masks. He's pretending not to be. You never know.
yeah, we'll see after the 10th album, you know, who it actually is.
Take it off. Take it off. Yeah, this is something I can't wait for the 10th album of. Definitely. So, with the uh influences, you'd say, I guess there's a kind of proggy element to it, and from who you listed for me to have as your similar artists, you said things like Yes, Hawkwind, Asia, Iron Maiden, Jeff Wayne, Meatloaf. I'm particularly um excited to hear the Meatloaf influence, and then Bach
Oh
and
yeah,
Queen and Rachmaninoff. How does
yes, many, many more. I started writing that, and then I was, oh, I forgot, for example, like Misfits. There is also a punky element. So I have so many bands that I've listened to throughout my life, and yeah, I mean, I have some influences in my music that I'm not even aware of. So I'm Meatloaf. I just discovered by chance because I was listening to one of our recordings from rehearsals, and I went, "Oh, that's Meatloaf." The voice and the kind of a timbre of the voice, and it sounded like Meatloaf. So it came out.
And question for Leo: do these reflect the kind of things you listen to, the things you're making in
Well,
Hypnobard?
yeah, somewhat. My music taste is all over the place, but at one point my piano teacher decided to give me the very big challenge of playing in the Rachmaninoff piece, and that's quite greatly influenced my capacity for composing music. And well, even before that, I was into dark and gloomy stuff, but um, now I really like kind of making interesting, mysterious, confusing melodies.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about learning to play music. It's just trying to push yourself and challenge to make more and more impressive sounding stuff, I think.
Sometimes we also go into like, I get some weird stuff, then he goes, no, that it can't be done, and then we push it, and in the end we actually make it work. So it just gets, when we get our melodies and what should we call it, the harmonies, yeah, harmonies in front of the band, and they go, what was that? You know? So yeah, it's kind of, as I said, genre hopping. It's moving, like in one song you can have so many different genres of music.
Yeah. Let's. I'm going to ask you about the bands you were in previously to this in the early 2000s. What sort of music did they make, and well, can we find them?
Unfortunately not, because at that time recording wasn't so easy as it is today. And my first encounter with trying to get a gig was like, oh, do you have any recordings? And I'm like, weren't we supposed to like play, and then we record after our 100th gig or 50th gig? But I mean, 20 years passed since I was last on stage. And music has changed, and performing has changed, and yeah, now you record first and then you play the gigs.
Yeah, for me, there was a long time between me recording and me playing the gigs.
I mean, the bands were like hard rock and heavy metal bands. I was even in a Misfits cover band, because my voice is very similar to Glenn Danzig's. And yeah, they took me as their singer. So I've been 2 years in the Misfits cover band. So yeah.
Okay, and the members of the band who aren't here, what's their history? What are their stories?
Well, in general, you know, Joe is a guitar player and music therapist, and he I think he played in some rock bands before now, but he's now very much into and very busy about his work. Um, and Matt, I think he's a DJ, and he also plays drums. For Jake, I'm actually not sure.
Jake is a researcher for music
Oh, he's a
therapies and their effects, I think.
yeah. So to be quite honest, I'm not sure about the bands they've been in. Um, but they're very good musicians, and they're picking up stuff like nobody's business. And it's amazing how those guys can just, like, you go to them with the weirdest idea, and in a short period of time they are playing it like it was their own.
Post Rock and Robots, gig plans, recording plans. Tell me about those.
Not yet. Now we're getting ready to record in November, so we're kind of concentrated on doing Rock and Robots and recording in late November, beginning of December. So that is kind of what we are concentrated on, and doing a few more new songs to complete the whole planet that we are doing now, to have all these songs and record, and then afterwards we'll continue looking for other gigs.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out that we'd like to make every album a separate planet and a separate idea, which would be very interesting, with different kind of atmospheres, not literally physical atmospheres, but kind of the feel of the planet.
Gustav Holst did something like that, but I mean, his was all classical. He,
Oh yeah. Also, Edgar,
Edward
the
Elgar.
plan. Yeah. The other day I was listening to the classic radio and they played, and I was like, oh yeah, that's another influence of mine. So, and yeah, also maybe another gig would be coming back to Rock and Robots, because I have one secret song that is soon to be made, which I actually dedicated to Rock and Robots. So yeah.
This Rock and Robots themed song. What's the what goes on in it?
Well, the thing is that I was always in love with the big guys, the Robot Wars, and when I saw Rock and Robots is like using the same format of robot fighting, and just in a smaller scale. Um, I just thinking about it and coming to Rock and Robots and everything just started churning and turning the wheels. And actually, I made a song called "Machine Against Machine," which I kind of want to do as a Rock and Robots kind of theme song. So we're still not performing it on this gig because we just couldn't manage to get it ready for the gig, but probably in some future, the not very distant future, we're gonna make the song and hopefully perform it.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely wait up for that one. And once you've got the theme song, I'll see when I can book you again. Um,
Okay.
so now exclusively for the podcast, you guys have a performance queued up. Um, what's the song? Tell us about the song and play the song.
The song is called Hope, and it talks about the sailor, uh, what he decided to do to heal his people.
Okay, let's hope it's a nice one.
You know, God doesn't play the dice, messing with tarot cards, fiddling with roulette wheels. Then, why you were dealt such rotten old hand lies falling apart, oh so it feels. Dark death seems so tempting, while they are inventing your destiny. Hope's rushing all in front of you, give strength you never thought you knew. Stand aside, make the river flow on into vast unknown, all into vast unknown.
hope you enjoyed Hypnobard. They are going to be playing second on Sunday. Come on down, see him. It's going to be a lot of fun. There is no time like the present for another interview, so I think it's time that we spoke to Hannah from Lovell. The next guest or first guest, I can't remember which order I'm putting these in, is Hannah from Lovell. Or Hannah Lovell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Hannah Lovell is one person project or more than that, would you say?
Yeah, but I write the songs but collaborate with different band members, and at the moment it's Fiona Ainsley, who's brilliant. She's doing drums and backing vocals and flute. But yeah, they're just me writing the songs and then kind of arranging them together.
Hmm. So how did the project begin, and how did you find band members or decide you need another band member?
Well, I started just doing open mics, and I think that was like maybe about 10 years ago or so. So I was just Hannah Lovell there, and I was just playing around little folk places, or I had like a couple of songs that I wrote. And then I think when you play a lot of folk nights, I realised I wanted to make more noise and sort of couldn't make much more with the acoustic guitar. Even if I did a drop D, I was not quite getting the welly that I wanted, and was playing in maybe quite a percussive way. And then Laura Kirby, so Kid Kirby, she volunteered to do some clarinet for me and then began playing drums a bit. So she's been a really long-term creative collaborator, and we played together for quite a few years. And that kind of made the sound more rocky. So it's just kind of playing around London that it developed. And then I dropped the first name. Somebody said, "Oh, it should just be called Lovell," and I was like, "Oh yeah, actually that's much better. I'll do a Fleetwood Mac on it and just use my surname." So there we go.
Yeah. I definitely know that open mics don't tend to like overdrive. So yeah, I'm happy I found this regular slot that I can make really loud sounds. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I might lean into the rock and the science maybe a bit.
Yeah, definitely. There's yeah, the whole concept of it is, I mean, other than the robots and me wearing a lab coat, sometimes it's a bit the theme is a bit thin on the ground, but we can, anything goes. It's
cool.
It's what we bring to it. So,
I've heard that one of the robots is like a piece of cheese.
Ooh,
so I'm like really looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah, that's Mr. Cheddar. I don't think he's going to be there though.
Damn.
He's not going to be there till next month. Yeah, that's one of the guys put together this. It's made of balsa wood but painted like a piece of cheese, and it weighs about 1/5 of everything else because he just put it together really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
It's like boxing.
He builds lots of cheese themed robots. He's had Billy Barata was the latest one. He's had Racho Nacho as like a rat with a trench coat on top of a bowl of nacho cheese. What was the other one? I do not remember the other one. Yeah. And robots are free to have a go with if there's time, if you'd like.
Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so under the Lovell name, what would you say, your favorite moments and your biggest successes have been while you've been?
Oh, well, just lots of nice gigs, really. I mean, it's great when you play to audiences who have never heard you before, and then the jokes are fresh, sort of thing, and you kind of win them over. Just a lot of great gigs. We've had some really good ones up in Sheffield. That's been fun recently, and a couple of years ago. And then Jamboree is great. Betsy Trot was always a lovely place to be as well. Been playing there for years, and it's just so lovely to have that live energy in the room. Really, I think that's what I like the best.
Definitely. So you've been all around the UK, would you say? Where's the furthest you travel for a gig?
Is it only to the Midlands? Well, France probably is the furthest that I've travelled so far. Yeah, the French countryside. That was fun. Translated one into French with my French friend, so that was a good experience. Oh no, hang on, Sicily as well. So maybe not particularly amazingly far in the UK. I mean, you can't go that far. There is a plan to go to Wales at some point.
Do audiences in France and Italy react kind of the same to the English language lyrics, or is it a bit diminished?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to get as many of of the jokes, but they do like it. So they might focus on the melodies more, I guess. But I usually make an effort to at least translate little bits in between so that they get the themes. But yeah, it's still very receptive. It's still really fun to do. But yeah, some of it, maybe some of the lines are especially reserved for the British public.
Yeah. I know that the song Neutrino, that's sort of, I mean, sort of faux Italian. Did they react to it in
Oh
that way?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think they probably like that bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Little Italian words in there. That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay. So in the review section of your website, a quote which particularly stood out to me is "The Pixies meets Waitrose." Do you want to go into more
Yeah,
about what sparked that? And do you agree with it?
yeah. That sounds pretty accurate. I do love particularly the beginning of Pixies songs, and I guess that's a bit more the sound. But then it's sort of, there's a sort of proper poshness. So, I mean, for example, I've got a song about how I don't like polyester sheets. So there's a sort of running, slightly snobby theme probably throughout throughout the repertoire. So I think that's where Waitrose comes into. I don't even shop at Waitrose, but I definitely seem like I would shop at Waitrose. So I think that's what it's about.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the parsley dip reference that brought about thoughts of Waitrose. I didn't realize
Oh, the
polyester was what.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, sorry, go on.
I
Did
didn't
you say polyester or parsley?
parsley.
Oh yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess yeah, it probably was the culinary references. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I also didn't realize polyester was just about the sheets. I thought it was about the person whose sheets they were.
Well, that too, gotta have layers, haven't you?
Yeah, okay. This is a good excuse to tell someone, to why it's not working. It's the bed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Other songs you've written make reference to dreams you've had. One of which where you happen to meet celebrities and speak to them. Are these real
Yeah.
dreams?
Yes, they are real dreams. So they're true stories. So it was years ago now, but I think I'd watched loads of episodes of House of Cards, both the American one, the British one, and then I had this dream about playing ping pong with President Clinton, and I sort of woke up, kind of amused by it, and the song came from that. But I kind of thought that was it, if you know what I mean. Like, oh, I've made a song out of a dream, that's fun. And but then maybe a couple of years later or something, I had a weird song about Sting where he was like going to wear a really risque outfit, and in fact, I've made a little prop to express what his outfit was. It was going to be just this. That's yeah. So your dreams can come true. You see, this is the outfit in the dream. So that was really weird to have a second one. But like I'm still waiting for the third dream. I've been told I think it should be a triptych, but you can't force these things. You've got to wait for your subconscious to do it. So I'm still waiting for number three. There we go.
Yeah, I can't influence dream. I was going to ask you like if you ate a lot of cheese or something, or that was doing it.
I've got no idea. I think I was
Yeah.
maybe listening to the police quite a lot at that time, but I don't know what brought that up. I think it's important to snooze in the morning though, because that's when you get the weird dreams, I think.
I have to pay attention. I have a song. I I don't know if I want to reveal it. It's that it was just a dream, but like I had this old radio advert in this dream, which I don't think exists. It's this sort of 40-star voice talking about a board game. It's like, I wish to play Grandfather Lane. I'm gonna build that into something, and I don't know if
Yes.
I don't know if I'll build the game around it. Just claiming it's actually a 40 thing, but it's just a dream.
Grandfather Lane. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
like that.
I'd searched Grandfather Lane. It's a street in like the woods in Canada. It's there's no way I would have heard of it or thought about it any way else.
Hmm. Wonder what these things mean.
Yeah.
I had a dream about giving birth to otters once. I mean, that's just like a little group of them. They were sort of otter things. They weren't exactly otters, but they were close.
Uh,
Yeah.
maybe some short hairy people and think about
Yeah.
looking after them.
And I thought, oh, that's how they would come out. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I think it was hard to bring them up though. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've recently done a song about talking about otters. I've done a song about a groundhog, about Groundhog Day, the repeats of life. And I've got little merch for it as well. This is like the mini version. Can you see this?
Yeah, bring that. Oh, that is nice.
He's very cute.
Yeah. Oh, it's got the
That's his.
number plate as well. That.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the number plate, and the merch game is strong. Just doing things the wrong way around. The album isn't out yet, but the merch is here. And then where's the other bum bag? Hang on. Yeah, so that's the adult size one. May as well advertise on here. And then he's wearing his little version.
Yeah. Where did the number plate idea come from? Is that a road legal number plate?
I don't know. I just wanted to have a number plate with my name on, and then I thought, oh God, maybe I'm really narcissistic like Sting because he wanted a label with his name on. So maybe it came from that. I don't know. Where's the number plate? But people have copied it since then. Other people have got number plates with their names on now.
Yeah.
So it's here. I don't think it's legal. No, it's one of those novelty.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's probably like mirror image, isn't it?
No, I can see it. It's fine. You, I believe, are not really new to the others. I saw you at the summer party, and that's where I decided to book you from. How acquainted are you with the others?
Oh yeah, I wondered how this had happened. Now I remember. Yeah, I used to live around the corner from the others, so I've been there lots. Saw good fun there. And you've got really cool nights like Cheeseburger Night and Yes Mess Open Mic, your night. Yeah, it's a pretty eclectic situation, so it's a good one.
Yeah,
Recommend.
definitely. Do you feel like the two-person band is enough as a live performance, or would you eventually like more people to join you to accompany you?
I think you could do bigger scale ones. I was thinking synth might be cool. And sometimes we do add in a bassist as well, like for the recordings we had a separate bass line. But it's also quite fun doing it really pared down like that and having two people making a lot of noise and being, octopus people, many, many hands at once. But I did sometimes thinking that I wanted to give the guitar to somebody else for a song so I can, dance around. So that hasn't happened yet, and I feel like I should put
Yeah.
that in the set somehow.
Yeah, I mean, a quick way of doing that is using a loop pedal. That's what I do. Sometimes I build up something on the loop
Yeah.
pedal, put it down, have a
Yeah, and then
run
go off and
around.
do a weird
Yeah,
routine. Well, I think that should be on the cards to extend that. But yeah, it's very fun making noise with an acoustic with a pedal. So I didn't used to do it like that. I used to do it acoustic, and then I kind of discovered that you can put the screamer pedal on it, and it sounds pretty cool and grungy. So I really enjoyed adding that in, and sometimes have a separate like bass output to give a bit more welly. And but harmonies is one of my favourite things. We always spend some time doing that together. I really enjoy that.
is there a sound you're trying to make, or people you grew up listening to that you want to be like? Influences is the question here. But
Yeah. Well, influences, it's just little bits of things that you love, and I think you filter them through your own weird brain. I mean, I love the song Smooth Operator, for instance, but I don't know if that's obvious within my work, but I just really like it when a particular song has really nailed it. Like I like the You're Only Making Plans for Nigel, that one, XTC song, and I think there's definitely Nirvana in it. Little bits that you find you've lifted, like a little chord change, or just like the kind of the heavy surprise that they do, the kind of the tension of pulling back and then having a nice heavy chorus. And I grew up obviously with like David Bowie and Kate Bush and all that, and I think these things just kind of seep in really. Yeah, I really like this French woman called Colleen Rio, and she's incredibly delicate and melodic and brilliant. Um, yeah, so that's who I've been listening to mostly.
nice. Okay, I'll check her out. Yeah. Any songs you'd recommend, Colleen?
Well, now I'm gonna have to look up the song names because they're not coming to mind, even though I have been listening to her a lot, but I just listened to it. What's that? What's that
I think
thing?
you gave a thumbs up. It saw that you gave a thumbs up, and then it gave me an emoji. That's
Oh my God, how does it do that?
mine doesn't.
What?
Fireworks, yeah.
Oh, how did it do the fireworks?
That's double thumbs up, I think.
Oh my God. I didn't turn that on.
Are you on a
I,
phone?
I
That might
didn't
be a
think
phone
I didn't
thing.
think people know that that happens. No, just skip that. You're just gonna have to cope with the name because I can't
Yeah.
bother to look the songs down.
Okay,
But
that's
anyway,
fine.
she's good.
You have a performance ready for us.
Yes.
What are you going to play, and what is there to know about it?
So I'm gonna play "Living with a Therapist," and it's based on a real life situation when my housemate was a therapist, and she's brilliant. She's great, and she has heard the song and approved it, so that's okay. But if you live with somebody who's a therapist, then sometimes you kind of you you get slightly therapized kind of early in the day sometimes, like before breakfast, or it's hard for them to switch off. So sometimes it's not really what you want first thing, even though it's a brilliant thing in general. So it's about that situation. She cried when she heard it, but like, with laughter way, not, upset.
Okay, take it away. Let's see what your living situation's like.
Remember how it used to be, how hastily you'd sweep those feelings under the rug, sweep them under, put it down to the pressure. Must be the weather, Mercury's in retrograde. Tomorrow I'll feel better. But those days are gone, and this house, it's just you and them. No more keeping it inside. Nowhere to hide, nothing in your mind that can't be analyzed. Now that you're living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a therapist. Wake up, open your door. How are you feeling today? You say you're okay, but are you sure? That's interesting. Tell me more. Is this a pattern you've been round before? You push down your feelings, put up a wall, cracks in the ceiling, holes in the floor. Do you think this is something that you need to explore? Now that you're living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a... You can't get away with it. You can't stiff up the lip and repress it. You can't get away with it. You can't use humor to deflect it. You can't get away with it. You can't stiff up the lip and repress it. You can't get away with it. It doesn't have to be British or planet. Safe space, safe space, safe space, safe space, safe. This is a safe space, safe space, safe space, safe space, safe space. Dialogue, dialogue. Attachment, attachment, attachment. Boundaries. Express your needs. So what I'm hearing is, what you're saying is, my senses, you're building a narrative. I can't handle this, I can't handle this, I can't handle living with a therapist. Living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a... I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to explain, I just want to be flippant, I just want to complain. I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to explain, I just want to be flippant, I just want to contain. Living with a therapist, living with a therapist, living with a safe space, safe space, safe space, safe space, safe, living with a therapist.
Thank you. That was
Thank
living with a
you.
therapist, and that was Lovely, and that was Lovell.
Oh, good pun.
There we go.
I've known
Um,
that one before.
before we go, we know we can see you at the others Sunday, the 13th of October. Where else can we see you after that if you're for some reason not available this Sunday?
Oh no, I'll be available. But
I mean, no,
yeah,
listeners,
next
not
week.
not you. Sorry.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
if the listeners
Well,
are not available, where else can they see you?
yeah. Thursday the 17th at Two Palms Hackney. We're supporting No Cars, who are a really fun Japanese band who have songs like with names like Tuna. Well, the chorus goes Tuna. Anyway, you should come. And then there's a couple little other ones coming up at Folk in the Cellar in Map Studios in Camden on the 28th, and that's like a totally unplugged little gig, just me. And at the Clerkenwell Arts Lab, which is a really great fun night as well, and that's on the 6th of November at the Betsy Trot. So you can definitely catch us at one of those three if you don't catch us on Sunday.
Okay. And where on the internet can we find you? Can they
Oh
find
yeah,
you?
everything / and then Lovell songs. So like instead of love songs, love LL songs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast, and
Oh no
I'll
worries.
see I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, thanks, Eli. Looking forward to Sunday.
Awesome. Give me a double thumbs
Cool.
up.
Thank you. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do that again so I can get the fireworks. Way. Okay.
Okay,
I do.
bye. Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm recording this before I recorded that interview, so I don't know what song she just played, but I'm sure it was great. Now, it's about time we spoke about last month's robot tournament because it was the biggest we'd had so far. And whenever you have a big tournament, there's bound to be complications, I guess. So 14 robots entered, which means to guarantee everyone 4 fights, which is what I tend to want to do. We had 3 first round fights, totaling 21, 21 first round fights. Let's bring that in frame there. And then everyone from that goes through to a further round. And to accommodate that, there were 4-way play-ins, which is where things got messy. If we talk about what I did, my robot was Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, and lost the first fight to the robot that ate my sandwich by getting outdriven. Lost the second fight to Scuttlebee by trying to be fancy with my driving and driving too close to the edge, and ended in a draw with Tutu Liftman after probably its best fight ever, actually managing to turn things over. And yeah, I thought I had no chance against Liftman, but to take it to a draw was um pretty good to do. But in the play-ins was that, you know what? Before the play-ins, I had to work out this massive table of 14 robots, add up all the scores, and then rank them in my head, and then draw them fairly by flipping coins into semi-finals and play-ins. It's difficult to keep track of things, and luckily I just made them. I got them to put on the record so we could have a little break. We also started the tournament about 15 minutes early because there were going to be about 30 fights total, whereas in a normal month we have about 21, which is just the amount that we had scheduled in the first round here. So big month, a lot of stuff happening. We had to cut out most of the interviews. We just interviewed people once before their first fight. Normally we'd hear a couple interviews and even some post-fight ones, just for audience entertainment. But there was not time for that here. From the league phase, our top 6 went through directly to the semi-finals, which were 4-way semi-finals. Winner of each goes through to the final, and the remainder go through to a 6-way third place match. This was a mistake. We should not have done this because I will tell it because of the outcome that it gave. But we're getting there. 2 4-way play-ins, one by Tutu Liftman and Throwback. We had to have another tiebreaker in the form of a joust, which is a new format I've decided to do. We put a plank of perspex across the arena. So it basically changes overall drop off from 22%. So there were 22% of the wall, which leads to going out into the pit. That is up to about something like 75% in this smaller arena, which is our plank, and it's very first one to hit the ground loses. So we have a nice quick tiebreaker. Of course, we had a four-way joust. Two of them left the arena almost immediately, so we had to rejoust between them. And that sent Skib down to the play-ins, where Skib was eliminated. Very good tournament for Skib, by the way. 2 wins, which I'm not sure if Skib's done that in a tournament before. So then we had our semi-finals. Pingu Jr., Scuttleby, the Rebel That Ate My Sandwich, and Tutu Liftman. That was won by Tutu Liftman. We had Speedy, Grey Fox, Little Lift, and Throwback in the second semi-final. Little Lift won that one. So a big third place rumble. Pingu Jr., the Rebel That Ate My Sandwich, Scuttleby, Speedy, Grey Fox, and Throwback. I'm going to try to share the screen here and bring in what's happening and also describe what's happening for the non-video. Okay, so switching to handheld for this. This is what I saw in real time. We got 3 robots left in the arena. Here, we got Pingu Jr., we got the Rebel That Ate My Sandwich, Grabber, and Speedy, a Flipper. All 3 are the last remaining. Here is what's happened in real time. Yeah, result pending, definitely. It's a very confusing thing, so let's bring them back out. And so what happens is Pingu goes in for a push on Rebel That Ate My Sandwich. Sandwich grabs onto one of its wedgelets. Speedy comes under the Rebel That Ate My Sandwich, flips it, and resultingly flips Pingu as well. As part of the attack, it goes in to the pit, and Pingu and the Rebel That Ate My Sandwich go in at about the same time. And obviously, I just wanted to say that was an unclear aggressor, because, I mean, the sandwiches, I mean, all 3 could be seen as an aggressor in something, and obviously, frame by frame, 1/24th of a second each time, it's impossible. We sort of see it a bit clearer, but I mean, in real time, we have no idea what's happened. The call on the night was based on the testimony of 2 Roboteers who said that the aggressor appeared to be the Robot That Ate My Sandwich, so that's who we declared the winner of this fight and 3rd place. However, this is why we do analysis. So it was as a result of this that, on reviewing the footage, I decided to give all 3 3rd place, because, yeah, if I'd stuck with my ruling of this is something weird happening, we would have gone to a joust, but we didn't, so the tie was not broken, tied 3rd. It's not the kind of thing I want to have in my events, but it's probably the best thing that could have happened, given what did happen, and that this is what did happen. And then the final fight was a tale of 3 flips. Little Lift got 3 flips in on Tutu Liftman, and was our winner. Then we had the Rumble, where Seal of Approval here got turned over quite early, but maintained mobility throughout. Skip through. Pingu Jr. and Grey Fox fought each other while Seal of Approval continued moving. And then both went out, leaving Seal of Approval the last one mobile. And as we see here, it gets... yeah. It gives Scuttleby its last push on the way out, so well-deserved medal for Seal of Approval. Okay, so my robot for next time is going to be Bag Full of Rocks. We have another large tournament again. I think there's going to be about 12 people. But Bag Full of Rocks is based on one of my songs. It's a hammer which swings a bag of gravel. The decoration on the front is the flag of the Isle of Wight. The song Bag Full of Rocks details the story of when I was in the Isle of Wight and did some fossil hunting and took too many rocks with me, and we ended up having the song tells the story, but it's a fun song, and it's a fun robot. It's come second and third in the tournament before, and it's possible I could go one better, but I don't know. There's a lot of strong people this time. In terms of the build, I do not enter this into spinner events because everything is held onto one single flat plate of ABS. And when I say held, it's taped. Video viewers will see the lots of black electrical tape holding a battery on the, I don't know what side of the screen it is, I'm pointing at it. And under here is a Malenki and the switch, two motors, and that's another drive motor which powers the hammer. Swings forward, swings back. It's a scoop. I think the whole thing weighs about 120 something grams. So there probably isn't weight on it to add any sort of bottom plate. So I will let you know how that does. We have a couple of newcomers, including a guy called Neil, who's bringing a robot that was designed on a uh like a Lamborghini. I do not remember what it was called. I'll have to open it up. We have some new robots from existing people. The Neil, who's come here before, is building a cluster of walkers. So that's two concepts we've got to explain to the audience who we haven't. We've had one walker in a. I know, you know what? Last time we had Scuttleby, who was a shuffler, which by our rules is a walker and can be twice as heavy. He's basing it on the I think it's called Positively Hysterical, cat-based robot from Norwalk Havoc in Connecticut, America. And it's a popular one. I think it's the same sort of thing, and there's going to be two of them. So by our rules, you have to eliminate both to count the robot as immobilized. I'll bring up photo if I can. And nothing more to talk about once we've seen it, I guess. October marks the last month of the single format night in Roboteering. There's going to be warm-up tournaments introduced from November. I think the first one's going to be 2v2. Then in December, we've got our Champion of Champions. January, I want to try to do racetrack at some point, either whether that's pursuit in the arena or laying out a proper racetrack on the floor and doing qualifying and laps. But we'll see what's possible. I'll have to ask Simon. And now we will move on to the last bit, which is interviewing me. It's basically where I tell a bit of a musical anecdote about my own career, and I play you a song. What will I tell you about today? How about I tell you about the instruments that I have and do and have played? I began, I think when I was about 11, starting to learn keyboard, and I still have a keyboard now. This happens to be one of those ones where you have the DJ setting.
Listen, DJ. Okay.
I got to find the.
Come on. Come on.
There we go. I found her.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. So eventually I found other voices on the piano on the keyboard and decided to learn songs with that. But I don't know, I wasn't always that good at doing two hands at the same time. When I was 17, I started learning ukulele. Told you about this last month. And then a year or two later, I started learning guitar. My mum had tried to teach me guitar beforehand, but it was out of one of those like classical guitar lesson books, and we were just learning simple folk songs, and I think it just wasn't anything I listened to. So I didn't really, I kind of lost interest in it. I had this guitar I built out of Lego, and I used to make videos playing it and pretending to smash it up like a rock star who is sustainable enough to do that. And I think that was really what made me think about wanting to do rock was I think the film School of Rock. Also, I had an interest in Queen, probably influenced by my dad because we had the Queen Greatest Hits 2 on CD. We used to play that in the car a lot, and we saw a Queen tribute band under a marquee once. That was my first gig I went to. They were called Killer Queen Online. I don't know if they still gig, but good tribute band. I eventually transitioned into learning actual guitar when I think it must have been when I was about 18, Christmas holidays of university. I started. My sister had an old 3/4 size guitar. The strings had never been changed on it. I've still got it downstairs, but it's pretty good. It was good enough to write stuff on, and that's where I wrote my song "Flare" on that guitar. I uh, obtained my own full size acoustic guitar from my girlfriend at the time, who um, was getting her own better guitar. It was a seriously nice one, acoustic with the proper electroacoustic with the pickups, and it had artwork of the Lady of Shalott on it, I think. Um, so I got her old one, which was relevant, relatively cheap elevation, converted from left hand to right hand because it used to be her younger sister's guitar. I then got my own electric guitar, which I have here. In the summer shortly after that, when I was 20, on holiday in the Isle of Wight, went past a car boot sale, and there was a guy selling guitars. He used to gig in Coventry, where I went to university. And so this came back to where it went pretty much. And I still have it today. I've replaced one string once, I think. Um, it needs a good clean, and that there is a bodge job by me, just by cutting out some plastic after I dropped it, and nothing would play on it anymore. I mean, nothing would play on it. After nothing would plug in, and it would, yeah, the jack broke. That's the thing I was saying. I have a load of percussion instruments I sometimes play and like make a. I attempt to play them on recordings. There's a cabasa, there's a gyro. I just got to find what's in reach. One here. Got the odd mouth harp here. I suspect it's a cheap one because it doesn't really make the same sounds as other ones do, but I use that on I Hope It Rains. I'm unable to play wind instruments anymore, which is a bit of a shame because I played didgeridoo on the recording of I Hope It Rains. I have a trumpet down there, which I started learning. I think it's the same. It's called the Valsalva maneuver. What you have to do to make a sound in the trumpet, and doing that really gives me headaches. Even before I found out I had weird blood vessels in my brainstem, I'd get that same really bad headache whenever I was playing trumpet, even for small amounts of time. So I never really got anywhere with playing it. Also, melodica. I'm really gutted that I can't play melodica anymore because it's a really fun instrument to play. But I think making up for that is stylophone, which I have here. And I played that at my last gig. There's a lot you can do with this. There's lots of buttons and dials and switches and things. When I played this during the solo of my song 3/4, which I built up on loop pedal. Oh yeah, loop pedal, that's another thing. I got myself a loop pedal in when I was 20, maybe 21, and that really shaped what I could do with music. After getting criticized for having too many strummy strings in a song, I thought, right, I'm just going to write loads of songs which don't use chords. And this approach to doing loop pedal stuff is definitely something different. A lot of people said I was doing really original stuff after that. So during the solo part of my song 3/4, I used to have a drum solo during that, but I decided to go for a stylophone solo. In the crowd was Georgia from Mother Can You Hear Me, and she decided mid solo to order one of these stylophones. It's a Gen X1. They retail for like 40 to 50 pounds. So yeah, you can do some really cool stuff with it. One instrument I forgot to mention during that was it was right in front of me the whole time. It's my mandolin. I first started playing mandolin when I was 19, went home for the holidays and borrowed my housemate's mandolin, which she didn't know how to play. And then I now tune my mandolin like a ukulele because I was more familiar with the chord structure, and I just prefer it that way, I think. I remember deciding that I was going to start tuning it like ukulele, and yeah, just never turned back after that. I think I broke a string once when I was trying to get it back to the mandolin tuning. So I'm gonna play a song which is written on my guitar, which doesn't relate to anything I've just said. It's called The Waiter.
What would I bring to the table were I able to be in your scene? Well, whatever you want from me. Was not expecting you accepting, but exceptionally you agreed. Oh, what a life I get to lead. I chose a brasserie that flattered me as somewhere nice that we could feast. As my anxiety decreased, but when it ended you suspended my contentment with the words garçon, c'était pas mal, je veux l'addition. Maintenant, when you go out I'll sit you down and promise you I'll be there when you call. And as these evenings go on, I'm sometimes there and sometimes not at all. And if you leave without telling me, then I really shouldn't do this, but who's to say? I'll be in this spot sometime later with what you wanted, 'cause I'm the waiter. Call our numbers and I'll listen with intent for you to get to mine. But you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and plans are made about a date and cancellations clearly come my way. Then you reminisce about those days. Now I'm feeling something like a pumpkin that's outside a house on Halloween, with a cough, don't smile, fire within. I guess that's what I get for rushing in when many others fear to tread. Oh, what a life to have to lead, to have led. Oh dear, 'cause I'm here when I could have been there instead. When you go out, I'll sit you down and promise you I'll be there when you call. And as these evenings go on, I'm sometimes there and sometimes not at all. And if you leave without telling me, then I really shouldn't do this, but who's to say? I'll be in this spot sometime later with what you wanted, 'cause I'm the waiter. I'll try to be patient, but I didn't like the way I was treated. I tried to make you double down, but I worry that it might be repeated. There's still some way to go. Where do waiters go when it's time to leave the restaurant? Well, the more I see, the less I want to be the waiter. Now you go out, I'll sit you down and promise you I'll be there if you shout. But I guess promises don't mean so much to you, so I'm heading out. Now catch the disrespect and the disconnect when you find me just to say I really thought that you could cater to all I wanted, 'cause you're the waiter.
Thank you for listening to Rock and Robots, the podcast, episode 2. Come down to the others. It's near Stoke Newington Station. It's on Sunday, the 13th of October. £5 on the door, £4 from the website, bit.ly/rockandrobots. I think tickets.rockandrobots.co.uk will also work. And after that, you can come the next month, the 10th of November, same time, doors open 5:30. Robots start sometime between 6:30 and 6:45, but come in from 5:30, say hi, have a look at the sound checks. And yeah, thank you for listening. Next month, it's me and P. Kremer.